Hey guys, got another video for you. So recently in a previous video, I talked about conservative pension plans allocating or basically dipping their toe into Bitcoin, right? In this investment pool where you better believe I got another story for you today. So just recently this week, we got news that Stanford had a student run investment club that had been allocating to Bitcoin. And so I believe that they had purchased it $45,000 of Bitcoin. And at the publication of like 66,000, one of the students that led the fund had actually made a point to state that they are currently 7% allocated. Well, the internet, of course, erupted. Everybody thought it was Stanford's main fund, and it was not. It was a very small allocation per this one fund that's separate from their kind of pool of capital at Stanford. Well, it got me thinking. I've been in this space a very long time, you guys. And so I'm like, that really, it sparks a memory. I'm trying to think. And so sure enough, I found this old school article backdating from over 3 years ago. 2021 is when this article came out. And so this is not new news, you guys. Like I said, I've been here a while, and I remember reading, it was about university endowments buying Bitcoin. This dates back to 2020, 2021. And sure enough, I found the article for you guys. And again, I'll post it below for you guys who are interested to read up. But this article states Harvard, I'm sure most of us have heard of this, Ivy League schools, right? Harvard, Yale, and Brown endowments have been buying Bitcoin for at least a year. And again, this was published in 2021. Again, it doesn't surprise me, right? These are forward-thinking investors. And so it looks like they could have been investing upwards of even 18 months prior to this coming to fruition and everybody knowing. So those of you guys don't know, I'm trying to find, I apologize for where are we? I will find, here we go. So university endowments are pools of accumulated capital, typically academic institutions that are in the form of charitable donations. So these funds, which support teaching and research, can also be allocated in various assets for investment purposes. Harvard is the largest university endowment with over $40 billion in assets. Yale has over $30 billion, and Michigan has about $12.5 billion, while Brown held $4.7 billion. And the thing I want to emphasize here, Bitcoin had zero ETFs, right? When these guys were investing, they were thinking ahead. And what I do want to kind of point out is that it is unknown how much each of these funds were purchasing at the time. So I'm assuming there were probably fractions of a percent, maybe half of 1%. Currently, I think we saw Fidelity come out last week stating, and this is Fidelity Canada, kind of a mild, moderate, severe kind of scale with 1%, 2%, 3%, like depending on your risk allocation. And so they're much, much higher, a lot, like I've heard of upwards of 10% in some, like just huge amounts of percentage allocation that these funds now are recommending. So it's interesting knowing that Bitcoin was so much cheaper back then. I'm wondering when it will actually come out on their books. And again, let's keep talking about the headlines here. What happened this week? We also heard that BlackRock, again, they are gobbling up the most Bitcoin of all the ETFs. They had amended their ETF with the SEC to be able to acquire more Bitcoin in other funds, not just the IBIT and one specifically. This fund is BSIIX. Not entirely sure, but anyway, I'll keep going. We also heard that Elon's Tesla and SpaceX both own Bitcoin on their balance sheets, totaling $1.3 billion. You guys heard that correctly. Tesla, the very company that so many people invest in, they are buying Bitcoin to invest in. Just saying, guys, you might want to get some. So you guys know, the point really of me bringing all this up and kind of pointing out all of these major institutions, endowments, companies, is that this is how the wealthy stay wealthy, guys. they're forward thinking, right? They use their capital as a tool, and they plan for future, not only investments, but future generations. And so I'm telling you all of this because you too can do this. All it takes is staying humble and feeding that curiosity with knowledge, basically. And so one book I can recommend, it's been around for quite some time. A lot of you may have heard of it, but it's known as The Bitcoin Standard by Safadim. This is a great book, you guys. It's almost foundational to anybody getting into Bitcoin. I highly recommend reading it. If you have already allocated to Bitcoin, I think you even more so need to read it. I know you can get on Amazon. It's like $20 or something. Great book. I'm not affiliate. I get no money and no perks. It's just a fantastic read to get you up to speed and getting a really good base knowledge of what this thing is, what Bitcoin is.